Hi there everyone. Today we're going to figure out how to get naked in Dungeons & Dragons. I was going to go to the store, get one of those pulpy things, but they were disgusting and I forgot. So, guess we're going to do the backup bit. It's summertime, everybody, and it looks like it's going to be the hottest one on record again. Happens every year. What a fun coincidence. So who wants to run around in the hot summer sun wearing heavy plate mail or sticky leather? Since this is the most powerful time of year to show some skin, I want to figure out how powerful nudity really can be in Dungeons & Dragons. Happy episode 300, everyone. I do want you to know this is a building character episode. We're just doing things a little bit differently. Instead of me telling you what character we're building and then I talk about the build, we're just going to do the build and let you guess the character. But I assure you, it will be one of your favorite fictional characters. But before we get started, I want to thank the patrons on Patreon. I don't know if you're aware, but there was this whole Don't Leave Your House challenge thing going on last year, and it kind of made the YouTube money shrivel up a little bit. If it weren't for the people on Patreon, I probably would have had to go back to getting a desk job to make ends meet during that time. So because of them, I was able to keep doing this full time and get extra videos out in June, do the extra videos in December, and even things like Lady Domitresque a couple months ago. Honestly, I wouldn't have done this video without the help of the patrons, because last year I was able to quit smoking and improve my diet and exercise a lot more so that I feel comfortable taking my shirt off for the internet.
But tell me you noticed how small his nipples are.
Not engaging.
So now I'm working on hiring someone else to make some more content, specifically a show where all of my builds fight each other. That would just take a lot of time, so I need to hire an editor. If you want to support the Patreon, go do it. We might get that show a little bit faster. Anyway, let's start off with our goals for this build. First, we need to not wear armor. We didn't spend a whole year inside because we wanted to wear pants. We spent a year inside because people had to go to Applebee's. I guess that's a choice. But so is wearing armor in general. So I guess you could just say, well, my character doesn't wear armor, and boom, you've done the video. You can click off now. But what I want to figure out is how high our AC can get while we're not wearing armor. You've heard of abs of steel. I want abs of adamantine. We're actually going to be using the point buy instead of the point array. We need to be a little bit unflexible here. Put your dexterity at 15, your constitution at 14, strength and intelligence at 13, since those are going to be our multi-classing minimums, and the wisdom and charisma can drop down to 8. This isn't as flexible as how to get high in Dungeons & Dragons. Turns out it's much harder to build an invincible naked person than it is to build a bird. Though we do need to be an animal, just not a bird. We're going to go with Simic Hybrid for +2 to our constitution and +1 to our dexterity. You get an animal enhancement, but we don't really need one at this point, so I'm going to go for Manta Glide. That'll just make it so that you fall slower. Honestly, being naked is the perfect counter to being high in Dungeons & Dragons. Our big constitution and dexterity are going to help us out right away, because we're starting off as a barbarian. Barbarians get unarmored defense, and their unarmored defense is based off of their dexterity and constitution. So, +3 from dexterity, +3 from constitution, that's 16. And barbarians can still use shields while using their unarmored defense, so that's 18 at level 1. Unarmored defense doesn't require you to stay a barbarian. It's just something you get to carry through the rest of your build. It's sort of like a cantrip, or a can rip, your shirt off. So we're jumping over to Artificer now, like some sort of librarian barbarian, a librarian, if you will. Unfortunately, level 1 Artificer doesn't give us anything that'll boost our AC. You get some spells and cantrips, which you can't use while raging, but again, that's not a huge issue. We're not going to rage a lot. I guess we could officially call this a mad scientist, though. That's multi-ability dependent. That's a D&D joke. Second level Artificers can buff their AC with an infusion called Enhanced Defense. That'll add 1 to the AC of a shield, so you can be rocking 19 at this point. I'd also grab Enhanced Weapon or Repeating Shot for some sort of dexterity weapon. That's mostly what we're going to be investing in early. Rage only works with strength-based attacks, but again, I don't care about rage. I just cared about making a video shirtless. I just cared about making a video about a character who is shirtless.
And there goes the shirt.
Third level Artificers can get some big temporary buffs to their AC if you become an Artillerist, because Artillerists get the shield spell. That lets you add 5 to your AC as a reaction, so that would be 24 at this point. Funnily enough, Artillerist actually gives you more defensive buffs than Armorer would, and Battlesmith would also give you more defensive buffs than Armorer would. Only a chump would fall for the temptation of wearing clothes. The special technique of the Artillerist class is the Eldritch Cannon. It's a gun, or a flamethrower, or a little shield that you can activate as a bonus action. That's going to be where most of our damage is coming from later in the build, so pay attention to that at home. The shield is the one I want to pay attention to the most since this is mostly a tank. It'll give you a number of temporary HP equal to your Artificer level as a bonus action and amount of times per day equal to your proficiency bonus to be a really thick animal person. It's also worth noting you get proficiency with woodcarver's tools, so this is a thick animal person that makes the wood shoot good. We're not even doing double entendre at this point, it's like quadruple entendre at the very least. 4th level Artificer is going to start getting really funky with another animal enhancement like Carapace to add 1 to your AC while you're not wearing heavy armor, and you can bump your dexterity up with an ability score improvement so you can get another +1 to your AC. That's 21 AC at total level 5 or 26 after you cast the shield spell. Unfortunately, this is where it's going to stay for a few levels. We're about to enter a naked desert. It's a bleak expanse that doesn't reward you for showing off your guns and your buns. I'm not going to turn around to show you my buns, that would get this video taken down. 5th level Artillerists get a better spellcasting focus. 6th level Artificers get tool expertise to double your proficiency bonus with your tools, and you can get some more infusions like a ring that helps you recover spells. 7th level Artificers get Flash of Genius, though for you it should be called It's Always Been Out and should surprise nobody at this point of genius. But 8th level Artificers get back in the AC game with an ability score improvement to cap off your dexterity modifier and also help you out with your guns. Not your guns like on your arms, but like the arms that you bear, not the arms that are bare on your arms. I'm shooting. Pew! This is a naked person that's armed to the teeth, obviously from the magical land of Florida. 9th level Artificers get 3rd level spells, and one of them can boost up your AC. I'm talking about Haste. That's +2 to your AC, doubled movement speed, and an extra action to do something with. 10th level Artificer is really great for a nudist, since it bumps up your enhanced defense to a +2 bonus instead of +1. That means if you're carrying around a shield, that's +4 to your AC at this point. You can also grab more infusions like a Cloak of Protection, which adds 1 to your AC and saving throws. Now a cloak is not clothing. If you saw someone running around with a cape and nothing else on, you wouldn't say, wow, look at that nearly naked person, but they aren't technically naked because they're wearing a cape. Some of you would, I know you're really pedantic, but most people wouldn't. So that's base 24 AC, 26 with haste, and 31 after a shield spell. Also, definitely grab the Headband of Intellect for 19 intelligence. Artificers tend to work better with intelligence, but we haven't been able to invest in it since we've been investing in, nudity. 11th level Artificer is another gap. You get spell storing item, you can put a spell of 2nd or 1st level that takes an action to cast into an item, and then someone can cast it with your intelligence modifier, so put Scorching Ray into a set of wood and someone can shoot fireballs out of a piece of wood. But 12th level Artificer is here to help us with another ability score improvement, so you can bump up your Constitution for better AC, better HP, and better concentration saves. Most importantly though, that's 25 base AC. 13th level Artificer is another dead zone. You get 4th level spells, but we don't need any. I don't know, just cast shield with a 4th level spell slot, that's a flex. 14th level Artificers can make a Ring of Protection for another +1 to your AC and saving throws, which with your Cloak of Protection means that you no longer have any negative saving throws and you have 26 base AC or 28 with haste up or 32 once you've cast shield. 15th level Artillerist is where that turret really starts working for you, giving half cover to everybody within 10 feet of it, which is another +2 to their AC. You can also summon 2 turrets at a time and activate them both with the same bonus action. But I don't care about that. I care about 28 base AC, 30 with haste up, or 35 after a shield spell. 16th level Artificers can cap off their Constitution with another ability score improvement for base 29 AC, 31 with haste, or 36 with a shield spell. If you have a +11 attack roll, like most martial characters would at level 20 with the +6 proficiency bonus and a capped off +5 stat, that would mean that you still need a critical hit to hit this naked person. Some monsters have higher attack modifiers and there are magical weapons that can do it, but the idea that a standard adventurer would not be able to hit you without a critical hit is absolutely bonkers. I know we're 17 levels deep, which is pretty high level. Most people aren't going to hit that level in their campaign, but what's fun about this one is that it always has absurdly high AC for whatever level you are in the campaign. It's not quite like getting high in Dungeons & Dragons where we were able to cap things off at 7th level, but it's still pretty dang fun. Start typing your guesses for what character it is in the comments, but we are going to finish off the build before we reveal the character. So, 17th level Artificers can learn 5th level spells. Skill Empowerment is what I give to characters when I don't know what other 5th level spell to give them. 18th level Artificers can grab some more infusions. Belt of Hill Giant Strength will turn your strength to 21, so you can still punch people if you want to. And our capstone will be 19th level of Artificer for one last ability score improvement or a feat. Grab Lucky. Lucky will allow you to make creatures re-roll an attack roll against you, which means that if they critically hit, you can just make them roll again, so that they can't critically hit. Presumably, like a 1 in 20 chance. So, are you ready to guess now? Remember, this is a quasi-invincible animal person with incredible movement speed that makes guns out of wood. Alright, here we go.
Who's that Pokemon?
It's King Funky Kong. It's Funky Kong. I know a lot of people wanted King Leonidas, but trust me, Funky Kong is better. Funky Kong isn't ableist. He's very good friends with Cranky Kong. Funky Kong isn't homophobic. He accepts rainbow coins. Rainbow coins that are apparently in the graves of other Kongs. That must mean some sort of estate tax to help LGBTQ Kongs. Rad? That's like Kongunism. Finally, Funky Kong's clout is not based off of a bunch of lies that were then repopularized by someone who ruined comic books for 30 years, and then repopularized again by someone who ruined half of comic book movies for the last 10 years. Funky Kong's clout is based off of being the fastest racer in Mario Kart Wii. But being a decent person doesn't really matter to you if you like Leonidas, only violence does. So, let's put Funky Kong up against Leonidas in a battle royale. Just kidding, there's no real way to make that fight visually interesting. I was actually going to have some friends on from the Late to the Party podcast. Hey, go subscribe, they're very funny. But then when I was making the sheets, I realized Funky Kong would have incredible movement speed, and Leonidas' best ranged option would be throwing a spear. So then Funky Kong just runs away and whittles down this very, very tanky thing with his force ballistas, and that's not very fun to watch. But Funky Kong wins. But if you really like Leonidas, I did kind of build him. Link in the top right corner. So what did we learn today? Being naked in Dungeons & Dragons is pretty fun. Multi-classing Barbarian and Artificer works surprisingly well, and investing in the stats not normally associated with a class can still lead to something pretty powerful. A lot of people think D&D 5e isn't as customizable as other systems, and they're right to a point, but if you're willing to get a little bit creative and think outside the box, you can still make plenty of cool things. You can even get funky and let everybody see your junkie. Thanks for watching. I've got a bunch of stuff to plug. Patreon, go support me, and then I can maybe get a show out where people do end up fighting each other. I'll do 4v4 so it's more interesting than just two people hitting each other. Also check out Late to the Party podcast on all of your favorite podcasting apps. It's a very fun D&D live play show. Also check out Tulok and Mango, where I kind of built King Leonidas but didn't really in Dungeons & Dragons. And also just, be nice to each other. Let's do another 100 episodes. Bye-bye!